fish. Why? Because fish don't need shchita. So once you catch them, they're already edible. Basil says no, once they die. Means you take them out of the water and they die. And Rabbi Kiva it doesn't have to actually die. It just has to be dried out enough that it can't survive by throwing it back in the water. Because it dries out. If you take it out of the water, it dries out. So if it won't survive, that's already considered dead. Basil says it needs to be actually dead. Rabbi Kiva holds it needs to be that dried out of the water, that if you throw it back in, it's going to won't survive it. My Benaya, what's the difference between them, the two? Rabbi Yochanan, different opinions here. When we say between the two, what the two are? Probably Rabbi Akiva and Basil. Rabbi Yochanan says, "Dog mekarteya ika benayo." If it's flapping around on the deck of the boat or whatever, and if you would throw it back in, it wouldn't survive. So that, according to Rabbi Akiva, that would already be food in its tummy. According to Beis Hillel, it's not dead yet. It's not tummy. Boy Rav Chisda. Noldu bedogim simani treifa mahu. Let's say there's a hole in the intestines of the fish, or something. There's some sort of treifa in the fish. Are you allowed to eat this? Eat this fish? This question goes according to either opinion. Either I hold, whether I hold that a treifa can survive, or whether I hold a treifa can't survive, I have a question here. Why? Can ask the question according to the one that says a treifa can live, and nevertheless it's treifa. By an animal, there's a lot of life energy there, so it can survive. Aval dagim delay nefisha chiyusayu. Loy. But you see, our question here is specifically according to Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva holds that once it's not going to live, then it's considered, then it's susceptible to tumah. So we're not talking about if you're allowed to eat it. We're talking about, is it considered dead when it has a treifa? When it's a treifa, is that already considered that it can't survive and it's susceptible to tumah? So if I hold that a treifa can live, so maybe I should say that, well, this can live. It's not considered dead. But we say no, a treifa can live. That's by an animal. This is a fish. It's not going to survive. Or maybe even if I say a treifa doesn't live, and so maybe this is already susceptible to tumah because this fish is a treifa. I could say that a treifa can't live. I consider it a treifa. That's because shchita is required. Aval dagim de'ein b'minin shchita ein malai. But I can say that by fish that don't require shchita, maybe a treifa is not really a treifa. Where do I say these laws of treifa are an issue, that it's going to die and all of that, and that I consider it like it's going to die? That's when I have a din of shchita. But fish that don't have a din of shchita, so you don't have a din of treifa either. And therefore, until it's actually going to die, I don't consider it susceptible to tumah. Now, just because it has some of those 18 things of treifas, that doesn't mean it's actually going to die. So the Gemara says teku. We don't know what the halacha is here regarding a treifa by a fish.
The concept is how you מקבל טומאה. זה אחד של חיה שהולכת למות, או חיה שלא מתה. זה מה שקבל טומאה. Something ברגל שמטלטלת, the legs that go out, but she's going to be out. If it's not going to be connected and be alive, הוא מקבל טומאה, כי הוא לא יכול להמשיך לחיות. He cannot continue to be...
Yeah, the difference is that I was discussing, there's a tumah that's in the leg itself. It's Eiver Menachai or Eiver Menames. Though there was talking about something else. Here, there's no tumah in the fish. Here, we're talking about something touched the fish when it was about to die, right? something tamei, a sheretz, a dead sheretz touched the fish, the thing that I was using as bait was sheretz. It touches the fish, so does the fish become tamei, right? Hitila nefel. This is an interesting case. Talking about that the animal is born, but it's born dead. There was no shechita. It was born dead. It's a regular nevela. There's no question over here. The question is, what about the chalev that's in it? Is there also a din chalev on that embryo?
Stillborn.
It's a stillborn. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Chelbei Kechelev Behema. Rabbi Yochanan says regular chalev. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish Amar Chelbei Kechelev Chaya. He says that it's only nevela. The chalev is not considered chalev. It's considered chalev of a wild animal. Right. Very good. Differences of this cars. Rabbi Yochanan says Chelbei Kechelev Behema. He says it's considered like an animal, and it's considered regular chalev. Avira garim. The fact is, it was born. So, the main thing here is that the animal came out. It's a regular animal. He says that in order for it to be a regular animal, it needs to be born in the right time and born, both. It needs to come out, and it also needs to be full term. Over here, we're considering it that it wasn't full term because it died, so it's not a real animal. So he has another criteria. What makes it considered an animal is being full term. Ikada Amri, there are those that say, Kol heicha delay kol lechadashav leklamhu. Everyone agrees that if it's not full term, it's nothing. Keep ligi, when is the machlaikas Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish? Heicha dehoishet yadi lemei behema. If a person stuck his hand inside the uterus of the animal, v'talash chalev shel ben tes chai, and he pulls out chalev from the embryo, the forbidden fats, v'achal, and he eats it. Rabbi Yochanan amar chelbei kechalev behema. Rabbi Yochanan says it's a regular animal because chadashim garm, because it was full term. It sounds like Reb Meir's opinion. Reb Shimon ben Lakish amar chelbei kechalev chaya chadashim v'avir garmi. It wasn't born yet. There was no shechita here. The machlekes Reb Meir and the Chacham is regarding shechita. If you shechted it in its full term, here there was no shechita. So, do you consider this an animal that it has its own chalev?
Well, then you go by the previous machlokes of whether this is even in the chay or not, whether this is chay or it's part of the chayas of the mother.
Of the mother, right? And actually, that's actually the same opinions. Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, where Rabbi Yochanan held that it's the mother. Does that fit with this? Rabbi Yochanan holds that it needs to be full term. He says that's considered part of the mother. And Rishim ben Lakish says that it's separate. It's not the mother. And therefore, it's not full term, and it wasn't born. So it's not considered chalev. Rabbi Yochanan held it was chalev. See, it gets confusing here.
It's confusing.
It gets confusing. Because it doesn't match up exactly. Esri Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan asks to Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish that Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish says that it's not chalev, what he rips off from the embryo. Ma chalev ishtei klai samurs ba'asha moitz b'chal shalol af kol moitz b'chal shalol. Okay. Here's the question. I have a pasuk by a Karban Asham that excludes what needs to be brought on the altar. It says that the fats need to be brought on the altar, but the pasuk excludes the fat of the embryo. So, Rabbi Yochanan asks to Reish Lakish, Bishleim Malididi, according to me, that I hold that the fat of the embryo is considered fat. That's why I need a pasuk to tell me you don't have to put it on because it's real fat. According to you, it's not fat anyway. You don't hold that that's fat, that's chaylev. Why do you need the pasuk to tell you that you don't put it on the altar? Amalei Rish Lakish responds, how do I know that it's not fat? Because the pasuk excludes it. This is my source. You follow? Rabbi Yochanan was asking, why do you need the pasuk? It's not fat anyway. He says, this is how I know it's not fat, because I have the pasuk that tells me it's not fat. V'ikad Amri, some say, Esvi Reb Shimon ben Lakish to Rabbi Yochanan, that the question went the opposite, as you can already imagine. Reb Shimon ben Lakish holds that it's not fat, and Rabbi Yochanan holds that it is considered fat. We're talking about the fat of the embryo. I have this pasuk by the Asham that says the fat of the kidneys and the fat of the and the other fat that needs to be brought, but not the fat of the embryo. Bishleim Melididi Rish Lakish says, according to me, it makes sense. Mishum Hachim Yeter Rachmana. I know the reason why the Torah tells you don't have to bring it on, because it's not fat. That's why you don't put it on the altar. El Lidach Likarev, according to you, why does the Torah say you don't have to put it on? It's real fat. Amalei. The reason for the Torah is similar to an animal that's not 8 days old. It's not allowed to be brought for a sacrifice. This is also, you don't bring it on the, you don't put this fat on the altar. Amar Rabami. Hasheichet es ha-treifa. Rabami says, someone shechts a treifa, a matzah ben teschai. This is such an interesting case.
He shechts a treifa.
He shechts an animal, and he checks the lungs, and inside he finds an animal. The lungs are not kosher. And then he opens up the uterus, and there's an animal there. And it's full term. The shechita doesn't help for the mother. Does it help for the embryo? L'divrei ha'isur, according to Reb Meir that holds a full-term animal needs shechita, over here matir. Over here you have to shecht it anyway. So you shecht the embryo. L'divrei ha'matir. But according to the chachamim that say the shechita of the mother helps, but the mother was a treifa. So over here, what are you going to do? It's asur. Rava says differently. L'divrei ha'matir nami matir. He says, according to the one that says, the Chachamim, that say the mother shechita helps for a full-term embryo, over here it's also mutter. Why? The Torah gives you 4 options, which really 2 options. You can shech the simanim of the mother, and you can also shech the simanim of the child. We'll have to shech the simanim of the child as well. Amar Rav Chisda, sheichet es ha-treifa matzah ben teschai. Same case. Ton shechita. Rav Chisda says that you require shechita, and you have to give the certain parts that go to the kohen, you have to give it to the kohen. The mace, and if it dies, tar melatame b'masa. It's not considered an avela. Because the shechita's mother helped. The shechita of the mother helped. It's a contradiction. First he says you have to do shechita on it. Then he says if it dies, the shechita of the mother was satisfactory. Amalei Rava, it's probably Rabbi. Amalei Rabba. Ton shechita, come on. Who says it needs shechita? Reb Meir. You want to go? V'meis tar melatam masa, come on. Rabbanan. Requires shechita because it was full term. That's Reb Meir's opinion. You're telling me that the mother shechita helped. That's the Rabbanan's opinion. You can't take both. Right? Ulataymech, he responds back. Hadatani Reb Chia, we have a brisa that talks about this. I guess we should stop. We're up to... Yeah? Should I stop here?
Davening started.
Yeah.
This phrase, Mila Masa B'Maisa,
Well, Tame B'Masa, this phrase means that it's Nevela. That means that it's Tame B'Masa means that it's a Nevela. Nevela is Tame by lifting it and touching it.